Hey, it's Monday, brand new work week, July 11, 2022. A lot's going on around the world right now. We got Sri Lanka right now that's going to be heading towards a huge crisis because they are out of fuel. They're out of oil, they're out of fuel, and they don't even require much. But it's a concern because even though they should be going to India, with the continent that they're actually closest to, they're actually asking Russia to provide them with oil. Why? I don't really know. But I guess because the West just isn't in any hurry to help them out. They're going to Russia, which I think is a bad thing. Biden is going to the Middle East, where he is being criticized, despite the fact that he's playing his cards close to his vest. You know, he doesn't want the countries to go back to being abusive to their people and inhumane and all this good stuff. But at the same time, he is going to try to work a deal with them. You know, because them, much like China, much like many other countries that we've complained about, excuse me, they have a real snotty response, which is, look, do you want our product or don't you? And we, of course, accept it and move on like the way they want us to. The Roe v. Wade thing is still being argued over. Gun reform is still being argued over. And I'm going to bring a little bit of that back up because there's a portion of that has to do with Uvalde County, Uvalde in Texas, the same city where the shooter shot up the elementary school. The shooter was a migrant. Well, he was a Mexican, but he was born here in the States. He was raised in Mexico and here in the States. Excuse me. But, he's stuck to his Mexican roots no differently than anybody else. Sorry. For right now, with the border problem, the border policy has gotten a lot of mixed reviews. And this is a subject that I'm going to be talking about. Latino organizations in Texas criticize or support Abbott's executive order that would return migrants to border crossings. This being reported in the Texas CBS DFW.com. DFW is Dallas Fort Worth. I did not get the columnist's name, and I do apologize for that. Latino organizations are criticizing and supporting Governor Abbott's new executive order empowering National Guard members and state troopers to return migrants to the federal border crossings in Texas. The governor's order doesn't declare an invasion. If not in this one, he's been declaring invasion left and right, but there hasn't been an actual declaration yet. And it's not being done in this executive order. Plus, he doesn't authorize the state authorities to deport those who are entering illegally. Just state troopers and the National Guard. Apparently there's a difference. Now, here's one of the critics from a Rudy Gonzalez, Texas State Director of LULAC. I cannot remember what the letters stand for, but it's a civil rights organization. The governor does not have it within his authority to make such an executive order. This is what Rudy Rosales is saying. That's number one. Number two, the fact that he continues to label this as an invasion rather than a humanitarian crisis, he's just placating his base. Okay? He's playing politics with people's lives. And that's true. Everything about him is trying to look good as this guy that's you know, claiming to be securing the border, but while at the same time just destroying people's lives. And it's not just the migrants, as I've posted in previous posts. He's arresting actual Americans who aren't even Latino. He's arresting white people in the name of Operation Lone Star, and then saying the border is safe. I don't get it, but at the same time, that's what he's doing. Now, back to the executive order, this current thing. Orlando Sanchez, founder of the Texas Latino Conservatives, applauded the order. This is what he's saying. The governor is doing exactly what any good governor would do, and that is protect the legal residents, the legal citizens, and the taxpayers of the state of Texas. For too long, we've borne the brunt, sorry about that, of providing social services, education, health care for undocumented and uninspected people that cross the border. Now I'm going to come back to that, but I want to finish the. Let's go with the first line. The governor is doing exactly what any good governor would do, and that's protect the legal residents, legal citizens, and the taxpayers of the state of Texas. Now again, wrong. This guy, Governor Greg Abbott, again, is not only arresting defenseless migrants who we need no protection of, but he's also having cops arrest U.S. citizens. Again, American born that aren't even Latinos. Like that, for example, and I keep bringing this one up because it's the most idiotic one of them all. That one white woman 200 miles inside of the border, pulled over for speeding, had her car searched, one loose leaf of marijuana was found in her glove box. Not already ready to smoke or anything. It weighs less than 2 grams, which is what is legal. But she was still arrested and charged for felony trespass. Trespassing is not a felony. But she was charged that anyway. And Greg Abbott said, see, Operation Lone Star program works. Again, these are American lives. These are American-born citizens who aren't even Latino. This was a white woman. So for this first sentence that Orlando Sanchez, founder of the Texas Latino Conservatives, to say that he's protecting us is just downright wrong. Continuing, for far too long, we've borne the brunt, said it correctly, borne the brunt of providing social services, education, health care for undocumented and uninspected people that cross the border. Again, wrong. If these people are being invisible, how in the hell are they getting health care? The only ones that are getting any of those social services are the ones that are registering themselves, whether they came across legal or not, whether they came across the border with a passport, or whether they came across with a work visa, or whether they came across as a tourist. We go over there all the time as tourists. They come over here, decide to stay here, and in order to get anything like this, education, healthcare, or any of the social services, they have to sign up for it. That's just procedure. So no, once again, this guy is wrong again. Undocumented and uninspected people. Okay, that's also incorrect. Let me finish this statement. While President Biden refuses to do his job and enforce the immigration laws enacted by Congress, the state of Texas is once again stepping up to taking unprecedented action to protect Americans and secure our southern borders. That entire last segment is just a repeat of every single Greg Abbott's speech. Okay, he goes to Uvalde. He says those exact words. He goes to San Antonio. He says those exact words. He goes to the border. He says these exact words, which is a huge clue that Mr. Orlando Sanchez, founder of the Texas Latino Conservatives, is nothing but a stooge. He's following the rhetoric like a ordinary stooge, and that is very important to know as I continue here, because I'm going to bring this back up. It's all about the money. Belief is the tool. Remember that. Continuing, the federal government has jurisdiction over immigration. The federal government has jurisdiction. The governor's executive order may spark a federal lawsuit. One could only hope. Rosales said the governor is wasting state resources. There is no simple solution, and for him to do these political stunts at the expense of the taxpayer in Texas is unconscionable, and he needs to be called on it. Once again, one could only hope. We're kind of hoping that this would happen. This is what I've been saying for post after post after post now. Okay? Sanchez disagreed. Orlando Sanchez of the Latino Texas Conservative, or Texas Latin Conservative. The Integrams is TLC. Right. So Sanchez says, I can tell you as a person that is a property taxpayer along the border in Kinney County, remember that, in Kinney County, Texas, we don't believe, border counties don't believe, that this is a waste of money. Border counties and taxpayers along the Mexican border in Texas have been ignored for decades. Now, to one certain extent, it's sort of true. We were always under the impression that the counties were holding their own. Okay? It wasn't until these migrants started to come in herds that they started talking about it's out of control. And now, 2 years later, well, technically it's from as far back as 2016, 2013, I think, when it started with 100,000 from El Salvador. Okay? Leading up today, everybody's declaring, oh, it's an invasion, it's an invasion. We don't got this under control. This freaking guy, Orlando Sanchez, founder of the Texas Latino Conservatives, comes from Kinney County, where, remember, there's only 8 deputies, okay? And a couple of others from a different agency, the state trooper and the DPS, Department of Public Safety, okay? There's only a couple of cops backing up the 8 deputies in Kinney County, okay? And as I've stated before, with the segment, Kinney County granted more than $700,000 by the state. Kennedy, which is a couple of counties down all the way down to the southern tip of Texas, did nothing but collect dead bodies, dead migrants that couldn't survive the heat. Okay? And received $700,000 for it. He didn't capture, he didn't rescue, he didn't do anything. The people in Kennedy County. You know, they collected bodies, counted them, sent the count to the head count to Governor Abbott, who then gave Kennedy County $700,000. There were no autopsies, so we have to take their word for it that they died of heat stroke. $700,000 worth. And the reason why they say that is because in autopsy, the prices would skyrocket. So we have to actually take their word for it that they were already dead when they picked them up. When they picked up the bodies of the migrants. And that very same interview, this wasn't on a news article. This was an interview on YouTube titled Defenders, the Economic Toll of the Border Crisis. Okay? And the subtitle is South Texas County Gets State Dollars to Recoup Border Crisis Expenses. $700,000 to be exact. From 5 months back. Okay? From 5 months back, they got $700,000. No autopsy, so we have to take their word for it. That they were being done that. Now, and on YouTube, where I saw this interview, you read down the scrolls, you scroll down the comment section, and I can't remember who it was that said it, but they literally said, we have the same issue here in Kinney County. Okay? We have the same issue here in Kinney County. A section for dead migrant bodies is located at our local cemetery. So Kinney County, how much are they getting paid by Governor Greg Abbott's programs? I don't know. But if Kennedy County is getting paid $700,000, I think it's pretty safe to say Kinney County, the place where Orlando Sanchez is calling from, where Brent Smith, the Kinney County lawyer, is declaring invasion. Okay? I'm pretty sure it's safe. It's a safe bet to say that they're getting somewhat around that much money, no differently than Kennedy County, at the very south tip of Texas. So yeah, it only makes sense that he disagrees with civil rights speakers from LULAC and any other civil rights organization. You know, Rudy Rosales, man, I have to disagree. You don't know. You're not here in the border. You know, well, I'm not at the border either. I'm in Central Texas. But even I can see the BS that this guy's saying. Moving on. But both Rosales and Sanchez agree at least one thing. They said members of Congress are at fault. Rosales says there's a lot of blame to go around here, Democrats and Republicans. The fact that Congress, which is being stalled in the Senate with that filibuster, we can't get any comprehensive immigration policy. So to blame the president alone on this issue is not only naive, it's really disingenuous. Orlando Sanchez says Congress needs to get to work and the president needs to sign bipartisan legislation that looks at immigration. Okay, there's faults on both of these comments. Okay? There's a lot of blame to go around, says Rosales, the Republicans and Democrats, and with the filibuster and all this other crap. Okay? Technically, he's got a point. Okay? We can't get any comprehensive immigration policy. Okay. So to blame the president is just naive. Okay, true. But there is an immigration policy already there. And it's being administered again by Alejandro Mayorkas, who defends Biden's administration policies and stuff, saying that it could have been worse. He's got the 30-year experience of handling the traffickers that try to smugglers, which he himself states, back in the 90s, I persecuted them and they were much more rudimentary. Now they are very sophisticated, using technology and their extraordinary organizations, transnational criminal enterprises, which is true. We're catching them, with the truckings every time we pull over trucks and they're coming out or they're being cooked. Technology was what was used to transport those 70 children into slavery or into, being trafficked, because they were all being ordered like off of a menu or something, through other criminals that were buying them. Technology was used not just to sell them, but to rescue them over in West Texas, over in El Paso, Beto O'Rourke's territory. Okay, so that's true, but these policies are still technically already in effect. So for Rosales to say, everything's just a bunch of crap, well, there's a lot of crap going on, sure, but to think that there's no comprehensive immigration policy, now who's he trying to make naive? You got 70 kids that were rescued. You're getting more that were being revived out of the 53 that already died at the back of the trailer. Some of the kids that were pulled out and survived, they're alive right now. The emergencies, the handlings of all of this, all those techniques and stuff come from comprehensive immigration policy, which is why we don't have certain EMS or cops saying, well, what do we do? Like the way they did with the Uvalde shooting. And I'm getting to that. Congress needs to get to work and the president needs to sign bipartisan legislation. No. Every time he does that, everybody on the right, all the way down to the lowest of the littlest conservative, says no. They spit on it. They won't do it. They won't have anything to do with on it. Sanchez is 100% wrong. As part of the governor's OLS, which is Operation Lone Star, the state has deployed thousands of National Guard members and Texas DPS troopers. The state is spending $4 billion on border security. Now, I've been saying $3 billion this entire time, but this is the updated data now. He's already gone up to $4 billion on security. The Biden administration is reportedly investigating Operation Lone Star for alleged civil rights violations. Here's the spokesman, the White House spokesman, Abdullah Hassan, speaking about this investigation and such. And I think it's a very good thing. He says, Governor Abbott's record on immigration does not give us confidence in what he has been cooking up now. His so-called Operation Lone Star put National Guardsmen and law enforcement in dangerous positions. President Biden is focused on real policy solutions to actually secure our border. Everything there was true except for our guardsmen and law enforcement in this dangerous situation. Look, National Guard will have no problem shooting defenseless asylum-seeking migrants, okay? That's just downright stupid to think that their lives are in danger because of that. And when they're working like a team, they are busting traffickers and human smugglers left and right, okay? When they're doing their job. When Governor Abbott is not having them as sick'em dogs attacking defenseless migrants, asylum seekers that are turning themselves in, yeah, they're actually doing a great job at defending the border. But under Greg Abbott's ruling, they're nothing but data processing things. They're pulling over defenseless migrants that surrender themselves, having them typed up all the information about them. And in the past, they were putting them in holding facilities and guarding them. Now they're just kicking them back to the border. In the meantime, criminals, traffickers, and smugglers are getting by the border no differently than that trucker who was responsible for the 53 migrants that died in his tractor trailer. Surveillance footage shows him smiling at the state trooper that's supposed to be supposedly protecting himself. But remember how Governor Greg Abbott has them checking tires, checking fluids out of the truck drivers' trucks, not actually checking the cargo. There's surveillance footage of the driver smiling away. But when law enforcement and all these people who are in charge of protecting us, capturing criminals, when they're left to actually do that, stuff gets done. Children and human trafficked beings are getting recovered and rescued. drugs, narcotics, all that stuff is getting confiscated. Except for when Greg Abbott has them doing some kind of stupid guard duty, data processing, tire checking, fluid levels checking, crap. That's when all of the, all of these criminals are getting by our border. Abbott, continuing to the very last segment, Abbott's border policies are a key part of his re-election campaign in November and will be a big issue in the race against Democrat Beto O'Rourke, who has criticized those policies. And that's good. What all of you out there who are watching this has to understand, it's all about the money. Belief is the tool. Abbott lets this chaos go around, does these stupid policies that gets nothing done, and declares a safer Texas. And get this, the majority of my fellow Texans, they believe it. It's all about the money. Belief is the tool. And none of those fools that are following Greg Abbott, none of them are getting that $700,000. They're not getting a piece of that. $700,000 here. X amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars over there. You know, the only reason why I know about the 700 is because the bragging that was done in Kennedy County, which follows the same similarities as Kinney County, which is over just before West Texas in the Del Rio area, before Beto's territory, which is all West Texas. Okay, Uvalde is another one of those counties where that shooting took place. You had all of them yelling at Governor Greg Abbott that stopped by to make a speech. Help us, Greg Abbott, help us. We need your help. And Greg Abbott, what those people in Uvalde, some of them might be catching on, but a lot of them over there, what they don't understand is Greg Abbott helped this crap going on. He helped this kind of chaos. Having the cops stand around, having the cops check tires, having the cops make up felony criminals out of misdemeanors. Okay? The cops were too busy falsely accusing of criminals that when they had the chance to stop an actual one, they fouled up. They dropped the damn ball. And the one thing that the governor did was come down and say, oh, look at what Biden is responsible for. That's what he did. Why? Because he knows everybody in Uvalde is nothing but a fool that follows him. And that's how he gets away with throwing lawsuits at the government to take portions out of the $550 billion spending bill from the infrastructure plan. That's what he does. And why not? It's been working this entire time. He's been getting away with doing this crap. And get this, he does it in claiming that it's for state security for the border wall. The wall that is not only not complete, has been falling down, like the portions that fell down 1 year after Trump set it 10 feet higher. And those fallen wall pieces, those fallen walls have not been picked up and restored. No repairs have been done. $4 billion now. Why not do this crap? It's working for him just fine. It's working for those in Kennedy County, a small, low number, about a couple of hundred people in these ranch lands and farmlands area. Small numbers of them, are following people like Judge Chuck Burns, the Sheriff Coe. They follow and trust these people, that judge and sheriff, these couple of hundred people, they're trusting that judge and sheriff and anybody else that they consider their people, who are splitting a $700,000 check and then coming out saying, well, Abbott needs to declare an invasion declaration again. Yeah, we can see why. Remember, it's all about the money. Belief is the tool. Kinney County, same thing. Declaring property damage and all this other stuff. File footage broadcasted on national TV. Kinney, several other counties in Texas on Texas border declare illegal immigration and invasion. Want Abbott to act to end the surge. That's the title of the news thing that you can YouTube yourself and see for yourself. Nobody, they're saying there's property damage, and they're showing file footage of migrants climbing over fences. You know, they're claiming property damage as they illegally trespass through their lands. Okay, they're all staggering. They're hungry. They got very little clothing on them, and they're carrying very little with them. They got one water bottle. Not one single cutting tool or removal of anything, crowbar, you know, not even a hacksaw. They're not sawing the fences. They're not one wire cutter clipping the barbed wire fences so they can pass through. Not one single piece of them damaged. Some of them climbing over that gate that keeps the cattle in, where they have the driveway with those bars that go on there, so that because the hoofs will slip, so the cows can't get out, they go away. And it's blocked with a metal fence, a metal gate. You know, it swings either forward or backward or whatever, with a chain and like a padlock to hold it in place as the ranchers pull up, do the combination, unchain the metal fence, the metal gate, and then get to drive in or out, whatever. Not one bolt cutter, not one chain cutter, not even a hacksaw to cut that metal fence. They're climbing over that metal fence, you know, and the trespassing that they show them, that staggering that I was talking about, that's based off of a game camera, okay? The landowners can afford a game camera to record the deer that's passing by on their land, so when they go out hunting, they'll know how many is out there to shoot. Migrants you see on those same cameras staggering by, you know, they're not carrying guns, they're not carrying any weapons, they're not carrying any tools, power tools or handheld tools. They don't carry shovels, crowbars, hammers, swords, knives. Not one single spear flag like the insurrectionists up at the Capitol building. No, you see a bunch of starving migrants just passing through, hoping to get busted so that way they can get the nourishment that they need and hydration. That's what you see. That's what you see. And this Orlando, whether it be the lawyer from Kinney County, Brent Smith, Sheriff Coe, Judge Chuck Burns, or Orlando Sanchez from the Texas Latino Conservatives organization, they're all on the same page. They're all working to get that check from, to split that check from Governor Greg Abbott, who's the only way he's doing that is by suing the government, who's taking money out of the $550 billion free spending bill portion of the infrastructure bill. You know, he's taking millions, he's spreading it amongst his own people. You and I aren't getting a piece of that, but it's all coming out of our tax-paying dollars. State and federal level tax-paying dollars. This is the reason why I'm bringing up the Latino organizations that are for Greg Abbott and oppose Greg Abbott. We see those that are opposed Greg Abbott, they're making great points about civil rights. Good for them. They should be bringing up all the damn robbery that the governor is doing legally, you know, or at least through policies that are to be declared legal. And there should be a crackdown from him all the way down to every single one of those. Kinney County has only 8 deputies. They're saying we're being swamped. You only have 8 deputies. It's an invasion. There's only 8 of you. A crackdown, yeah. This investigation, oh my God, yes. Investigate. Mr. Biden, the Judiciary Committee, the IRS, whoever it is, Elizabeth Warren, just send Elizabeth Warren at them. She'll find them. She'll find every single one of those crooks. As sure as she made Wall Street and all of the banks shaking their boots. Sick Elizabeth Warren on them. Get Elizabeth Warren. Well, don't sick her, but you know what I'm saying. Send Elizabeth Warren to find these douchebags and where all the money is going. Because it sure as hell isn't going to any of us. It's all about the money. Belief is the tool. They are spreading some wealth amongst their people. And you believe you're safer. They believe it's for the better. Yeah. All right. So that's the spiel. I'm running out of time. That's the spiel. Y'all stay safe out there. Just keep all this stuff in mind. I'm not making it up. These are the facts that are being put out there. And all I'm doing is just relaying the message. Okay? Y'all take it easy. Y'all take care. Stay safe. There's a coronavirus still out there. It's not as dangerous, but play it safe anyway. Hopefully it'll fizzle out or die off. This new mutated version, BA5, I think it's called. But yeah, stay safe out there. Y'all take care. This is Chris with Chris's Comments, signing out. Oops. Signing out. Let's try that again.